Okay, in this video we're going to make the closure for our journal, and I have selected two pieces of, it's kind of silk, like, I don't know how to explain it. It came out of a rug from Five Below that I deconstructed and took all the separate pieces, and it's got these really cool, pretty fabrics in it. So I've chosen a pink one and a teal one, kind of match the colors in my journal. I'm tying them together to make them long enough, and that little flap, I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so this is going to wrap around. I'm pulling it tight and it's going to wrap around the journal. I could have attached it to the inside, but I'm going to go ahead and do it to the outside. And then it'll wrap around, and then I'm going to have a button that the end of that will wrap around. Alright, I'm going to take a black little elastic, and I'm going to put it around the end of this to kind of give it a smaller place so that it's not this as bulky coming right out of the side of the journal right there. I'm going to just put it on there tight enough that it'll make it smaller. And then I'm going to attach it there with some Fabrifix. I'm going to stick that in the glue, hold it down for a minute, and then I'm going to put a clip on it to hold it while I go ahead and work on the button. Set that aside. Now for my button, I'm looking for a piece of embroidery that I've made that will look good on my journal. And I've got some roses, and oh, I like that one. It's got pink and green in it, so I think that's the one I'm going to use. And I have this little button makers that I have two sizes. I got it from Hobby Lobby, and they were like $3 or $4. And then I bought some refills for it, which were like $3 or $4 as well. So that's what I'm going to use. And I cut out the piece of fabric that I want to use over the button, and you fit it into this little mold, and you push it down with this little pusher. And you get it all the way in there. You've really got to put some strength into it. But kind of check it as you're pushing it in to make sure that your image, your fabric, or whatever it is you're wanting to be on the other side, that it can be seen. And I think I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit. But you don't want to trim it too much because you want to make sure you have enough of an edge of it to go inside the inside of the button, and then you put the back on it and it'll hold it in place. And then it just pops out. Little popper thing. And then here I am folding in the ends of the fabric, and then I'm going to put the back on there. You get it centered in there really good, and then you use the little button popper thing again. Put it over that and just push it in as hard as you can, and you'll hear it snap into place. And then once you get it in there, you pull out your little popper and you can pop the button out of the little mold. And it makes a cute little easy button. Now, if you do mess it up, you can pry those two pieces apart. It is possible, but hopefully you don't have to do that. Alright, so my fabric is dry on there now, and that's what our button's going to look like. So I'm going to get a needle and some embroidery thread, and I'm just going to do a simple, like you would when you're sewing a button on a piece of a shirt or something. I'm going to tie a knot in the end of it. I'm just going to do 3 or 4 loops through the button, the eye of the button and the fabric, and then I'm going to wrap my thread around the button and then tie it off. And yes, I did stick myself every single time that I put that through there. Back through the fabric, into my thumb, through the eye. And I'm just going to do this 3 or 4 times, or I'm going to wrap it around now. And then I'll do it a couple more times, and then I think I wrap it around again before I tie it off. And then I'm going to tie it off by making a loop around and then putting the thread through it and then pulling it taut. And I'm going to do that twice. And then snip off the end. And now we have this fun silk fabric. We're going to wrap around the button. And that flap, what's hanging down is going to be a little bit long, so I think I cut some of it off. Yeah. So there we have it. Looks so cute. Okay, now we're going to add our cards to our album, and you can do that with either photo corners, some square foam sticky dots, or this is just a little plastic package I got on an envelope that I got on Amazon. When you pull the backing off, it's clear. So you could put that on the page and then you can stick your Polaroid in. They fit in there great. But I think I'm just going to use my photo corners because I really want it to look like a photo album. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to decide which page I want, which card to go on which page based on the colors. And I decide on her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the photo corners on the card. You make sure you get them on there nice and snug. You see my journaling on the back. This way you can take these out if you want. That's why I'm using the photo corners. And then after they're on, you just lay them down and press them on. And they stick fairly well. If they don't stick very well, you can come back in with some glue. And I'm just going to do this to all of the cards that I have done. You can get these little photo corners at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General store. They're very inexpensive. And they have them in other colors. I just happen to have black on hand. It's one of those scrapbooking items that all of us have lingering around that we never use. And there's another way to use those up. Now you could come back in after you get these in there. You could come back in with some scrapbook embellishments or whatever you have on hand that you want to use to jazz those pages up a little bit. I might do that later, but for right now, this is all I'm going to do. But there you see I had to glue an edge down. And there it is. Welcome back. I have completed my journal. I don't have all the Polaroids finished yet, but my journal is complete and ready to receive them. And I just wanted to do a flip through of it. And I made this little label in Canva. It says Faces of Faith and it says Art from My Heart. And I am providing for you as a gift a worksheet of those that's you can print it off on sticker paper, or you can just do it on cardstock, whatever you want. But it's just a fun little frame that I thought if you wanted to use it to label anything, you could. So you've got that. So let's do a quick flip through. We have the little button that we made, and my button maker, I got it at Hobby Lobby. I have two sizes, this size and then a little bit bigger. And I think they were just like maybe $3 or $4. So, and then I did the embroidery myself. So that was just a fun little touch, and it's just sewed on. You saw in the video. So let's unwrap it. Okay. Here's my first one. So I'm just going to flip through. Yes, you will notice that my hearts are upside down. When I put my covers on, I put them on upside down. I didn't feel like fixing it, so it is what it is. I don't mind. Love these pages. And there's one more. There are 30 pages, 30 or 31 pages for you to fill up. And when you get to the end, you just flip it open again, and you can just keep going. Upside down strawberries. So this is just going to be like a fun little photo album to keep my Art from My Heart, my Faces of Faith Polaroids that I am going to use daily and create them as I read the Word and find scriptures that minister to my heart. And then I'm going to create a Polaroid portrait to put down my thoughts and the scripture on and add it to my journal. I hope you enjoyed this class. I know I did. And thanks so much for being a part of it. You have a great day. Bye-bye.